I've kind of stayed away from this a little bit, but let's dive in. Caleb Williams, is he that guy? Is he going to be that guy? I'm not sure that Caleb Williams is that guy, but is he going to be that guy? I know Bears fans are hoping that he is. I know Bears fans absolutely hope that he is. But then I've seen of course, the weird people out there that hate Caleb Williams. They don't know him, never met him, never going to meet him, but they hate him. They dislike him. And I'm like, why do you dislike him? You don't even know the man. What, did he steal money from you or something? Well, I don't like that he paints his fingernails. How did that hurt you? Who cares? Like, seriously, who cares? If you think it's weird, okay, think it's weird. But if he can throw a football accurately and on time and get it to where it needs to go, would you care if he painted his whole body? I'm guessing not. So who cares? Unless you're just that insecure with yourself. That would be my whole thing. So, my man Wakan says, don't know if he's overrated, but I want to see how he reacts to the speed of the game and the pressure from the defense. Yeah? The problem is everybody says, well, he falls apart under pressure. Yeah, look, the line at USC was horrendous. So him having to play off schedule all the time last year wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault. I mean, he couldn't be on time. He couldn't be on schedule. I mean, as soon as you get the ball, if somebody's in your face, that's difficult, man. When you get into your drop and you're having to avoid a rush before you can even make a read, that's tough. I think he can play. Will the Bears do enough to allow him to do that? We'll see. But I think he can play. Or, let me ask this question and throw a little monkey wrench in. Do we even think the Bears are going to take him? Is it just a lot of smoke screens? Are the Bears going to take Jaden Daniels, Drake May, somebody else? Or is that just all a smoke screen and they're going to take Caleb Williams? I don't know. I think they got to take Caleb Williams. Well, I shouldn't say that. They don't have to. I think they should. Because I was under the impression the Bears should have kept Justin Fields, taken Marvin Harrison number 1, taken a tackle at number 9, and roll with it that way. I thought that's what the Bears should have done. And until the day they traded Justin Fields, I thought that's what they were going to do because you saw the value just dropping and dropping. I'm like, yeah, they're not even trying to trade Fields. Okay. And then they do for a 6th-rounder next year. I'm like, oh, my God, what are you doing? So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. We'll see. We will see. I still like him. Let me ask you guys this question. And I got into a big debate this weekend. Now, some people made it racial, which maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You know, I can't sit here and say that it's not. But isn't J.J. McCarthy like the Zach Wilson of this draft? I mean, all of a sudden, J.J. McCarthy, there's people talking about him being a top 5 pick. J.J. McCarthy. What has he done since the national championship game until now that has proven to be better than what all these other guys put on tape to the end of their seasons? Like, they did the same thing with Zach Wilson. It seems like they do the same thing every year. They pull some quarterback up who they've had some talk, but then all of a sudden they just make this rise up draft boards and this rise up Mel Kiper and used to be Todd McShay and all these people. And next thing you know, they get to a team, they get taken early, and they suck. It happens all the time. And I'm not even saying that what J.J. McCarthy can't be good, because in all actuality, we don't really know, because Michigan ran the ball all the time. And some people say, well, that means J.J. McCarthy couldn't throw it. No, it doesn't. It just means they had an advantage of running the football, and it's a lot less more dangerous to run the football than it is to throw it. You're not putting the ball in harm's way when you run the football. You are when you throw it. You know, they always say there's 3 things that can happen when you throw the ball. 2 of them are bad. Well, if you run it, there's a lot less risk. So, and yet we got people talking about him being a top 5 pick. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then somebody, did Zach Wilson win a national championship? If Zach Wilson played on that Michigan team, he would have won a national championship. So, I mean, if that's what you want to say, did Zach Wilson win a national championship? Well, if Zach Wilson played on that Michigan team, he absolutely would have won a national championship. Oh, by the way, so would me, so would you, so would about 1 million other people. So they didn't win the national championship because J.J. McCarthy was their quarterback. That's not why they won. Now, I'm not saying that McCarthy didn't play well enough. I'm not saying that. But let's not kid ourselves. They didn't just, oh, man, we won the national title because of J.J. McCarthy. No, they didn't. They played outstanding defense, ran the ball down everybody's throat, and got timely throws from a quarterback, which is fine. That's fine. But, whew, McCarthy should not be a top 5 pick. Yeah, I agree. There's a perfect example there, Ali, just like Brock Purdy. So he lost his junior year in the Natty, which, first of all, they didn't make it to the national championship his junior year. So that's one thing. Went back and won it. How is that not a top QB? So that's the definition of a top quarterback, is that your team chokes the year before. And let's call it what it is. They choked, and he was bad in that football game. And then they come back, and they have the best team by far, and they beat everybody. That means you're a top quarterback? Lord have mercy, people. What are we talking about? I mean, what are we doing? Golly, just say you're a Michigan fan or you don't understand what you're watching. That's okay, man. I get it. But let's not be outlandish. You know? Sounds like coaching to me. There you go, Chuck. There you go. I like I said, I like J.J. McCarthy. I think he can be. I don't think we even know what kind of quarterback he can be yet because he didn't have to do enough in college. That's not a bad thing. It just means we don't know. We just don't know. And are you willing to take that top 5 pick on a guy that you don't know? How many times has that worked out? So I like him. We'll see how it works. I think there's advantages and disadvantages to his game, just like a lot of people. But I see him as a 2nd or 3rd round pick. You know, and that's the whole thing. Just because a guy plays quarterback doesn't mean you have to take him in the first 5 picks. Doesn't even mean you have to take him in the first round. I mean, look at my Steelers. How better off would my Steelers be if they would have taken somebody else with the number 20 pick 2 years ago versus Baby Hands Pickett? You didn't have to take Kenny Pickett there. You didn't. You could have taken an offensive lineman, a corner, something else. Instead, you take Baby Hands Pickett, and there was no reason for him to be drafted that high because he was not a number 20 talent in that draft. I mean, hell, you could say that Kenny Pickett was a 3rd round talent, but because of the position he played, he got taken way too high, and now he's not even on your football team anymore. So that's my whole point. Whew. But we'll see. Well, Can says McCarthy reminds me of Dilfer on the Ravens. Just manage the game and don't lose. Yeah, although I will say that McCarthy did make plays when they need him to make them. He just wasn't asked to do it that often. Dilfer wasn't even asked. They just said, don't lose the game. We're not going to ask you to do nothing. Well, McCarthy, they at least asked him to do some things. So, but we'll see.